Hey, Shalom. This is Yabatazah coming back with another video. Basically, it's gonna be like a quick hit. All right. Want to jump right into it, man. This is Proverbs 20:8. It says, "A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes." All right. So basically, that's talking about a man of authority. All right, that sitteth upon the seat of judgment, scattereth away all evil with his eyes, meaning that he has the God sent wisdom, all right, the gift of discernment, all right, to use to judge between right and wrong, all right. So that's the thing that us brothers, the Akim, that on the four corners, that are scattered to the four corners of the earth, on the highways and the byways, that's the thing that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is exercising us in, preparing us for the kingdom, all right, to cast righteous judgment, all right, to be ready to be filled with things that are going to be yet granted unto us, all right, because we are kings, man. You know, the scriptures say that we are as gods, and you go to that word God, it means to be a power or a judge, all right. We're not going to be off like these so-called judges here on the earth right now, man, that do unrighteousness and things of that nature, all right, prescribe unrighteous decrees, you know, and unjustly imprison Jake for no reason, without evidence. Okay, but right here in this chapter, in this Proverb 20:8, a king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth all away evil with his eyes. All right, and there's an example that I want to bring out to prove that. Let's go to the book of 1 Kings chapter 3, and we'll start at verse 16. It says, "Then came there two women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the king at this time was King Solomon. And the one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house." And you, mind you, this is what was one of the first tests that King Solomon had to face after he was granted all wisdom, that the Lord had asked him what he would want, and he requested to know how to judge his people with righteous wisdom. Okay, starting at 1 Kings 3:19, "And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it." All right, so there was a woman that rolled over her child and basically suffocated the child, and the child perished. Verse 20, "And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and her dead child in my bosom." So the woman that laid on her child that died swapped out the other living woman's child and replaced hers with it, and took the living child, all right, which was wicked, man. Verse 21, "And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear." So she knew her son, you know. It's just like Yahweh Shai knows his people, you know, through the Spirit. Okay. Verse 1 Kings 3:22, "And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son." So they were arguing. Thus they spoke before the king. All right, so there was evil being presented to the king, which was King Solomon. All right, so he had to use judgment to scatter away evil, right? Verse 23, "Then said the king, the one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other saith, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. All right, so that was proper judgment. He scattered away evil just with that one action that he decided that he was going to do to these two women that weren't arguing over this child. He was just going to kill it and give them one the other half, the other half. But the one that truly loved the son was willing to let it go so it would not perish. You know? Verse 28. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of Yahweh was in him to do judgment. Which that was an example that this is the example that I'm using to prove Proverbs 20:8, where it says, A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. All right, and there's times where you don't even have to use proper words or anything like that. You can just look at somebody, and if they're coming with some wickedness, just by your eyes and your countenance can scare away that evil. Okay, but this is the example that I wanted to use, because all Israel heard of the judgment which the king judged, and they feared the king. Let me go on there. All right, it says all Israel heard of the judgment, all right, Mashaphat, all right, which the king had judged, and they feared the king, and they saw that wisdom of Yahweh was in him to do judgment. Just look up the word judgment. It says judgment, justice, ordinance, act of deciding a case. All right, place, court, seat of judgment. Okay, he was an authority, man. You know, and Yahweh Shem Yahushai was dealing with him. All right, and the word is mashaphat in the Hebrew. It says that verdict. All right, especially a sentence, a formal decree, human or divine law, individual or collective, including the act, place, suit, the crime, and the penalty. Abstractly, justice. All right, so basically, you know, he just cast a judgment, man. He used proper discernment, and then the answer was shown. All right, but I want to just leave it with that, brothers. I hope it was edifying. All right, we're in the time of great judgment, and also we have to use discernment. All right, just like the elder said, this is the time of death, destruction, and diligence. All right, and also we got to use proper discernment. Keep your eyes open, be circumspect, man, be vigilant, because as Satan, the devil, he has a roaring lion, seeketh whom he may devour, and we have to be on our toes, Akim. I speak this to myself and to all you brothers out there that are battling in the forefront. You know, all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to you brothers out there doing the work of sincerity and truth. Keep pushing. We're almost out of here. Until next time, I want to say shalom.